Mass power outages in Germany, I'll show you the map right away. That means there are once again hundreds of power outages, blackouts here in Germany. Even the Chancellery, by the way, has now denied that there was a power outage or anything like that. It wasn't a gas leak, just cleaning supplies. The cleaning lady messed up. In quotation marks, whoever believes that will be blessed.
The morning had already started. Since 5 a.m., there was an alarm in the Reichstag building. Apparently, a gas detector triggered the alarm.
Technically, that shouldn't even happen because who would have thought? It turns out the Bundestag is heated with bio-rapeseed oil and it has heat storage chambers. They are located 300 meters deep underground. Why, please? Is this the first time gas is being pumped into the Bundestag? Oh, I can explain that it's for extreme cold or extreme weather conditions. For example, if photovoltaics and biogas aren't enough, then additional energy supply has to be pumped into the Bundestag with, who would have thought, gas. And no, it wasn't an attack by Putin, it was actually a so-called cleaning agent that caused these complications.
That's why the fire department operation was relatively large. About 80 firefighters were involved, and since gas was reported, a decontamination station was also set up there.
By the way, anyone who claims that this had something to do with our gas supply here in Germany, I have to correct them right away. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. And all these power outages we're having right now also have nothing to do with the possibility that the gas pressure in the pipelines is no longer sufficient to supply everyone. And I really mean every single instance. And we all know this problem: under pressure, overpressure, and then somehow some pipelines just burst. I looked for reference values. This has already happened in the Bundestag, and here I was also taught otherwise. According to my research, it has never happened in the history of the Bundestag that gas has ever leaked there. I mean, it shouldn't happen at all, for example, if you keep opening and closing the gas line and then suddenly apply high pressure, then low pressure, because, for example, others are shut down, or maybe even because they just basically fail and therefore can no longer be used. That's what, by the way, a lot of influencers are describing right now, that this can lead to extreme problems.
So that was in one room, and then the police reported, and the fire department also reported that they had entered this room, that they went there, checked if there was anything, and in a way they didn't find anything.
I just spoke with a firefighter who explained the situation to me in detail. He said normally we have what's called gas detection devices for that. That means the attack team, I don't know if that's correct, that's from someone who works in a professional fire department who explained it to me. Normally we go in with our gas sniffers. Those aren't human, that's just what they call them. The attack team is then instructed to report the building first, and then they go room by room until a gas leak can be located. And the moment they go off, that's when the alarm is triggered in that area. Now, of course, the whole thing could be possible that we have a small professional fire department here, that they do it like they used to, or that they do it differently than in Berlin. But this thing about it, huge decontamination chambers were set up there, huge trucks rolled in, a massive deployment of the fire department, he says. That sounds pretty strange to me. He said, I can't even imagine that it was supposed to be just a cleaning agent. But he also said, I don't want to go out on a limb here.
So at first the suspicion was, okay, it could be cleaning agent that was too highly concentrated, and that's what triggered the gas detector.
My firefighter told me this is just so absurd. So the story seems so far-fetched. He has never, and as I said, he's with the professional fire department. He has never experienced anything like that in his life. And he said almost every house, for example, that is heated with gas or something similar has these gas detectors, that they've ever received such a message before. And yes, a lot of private individuals also use strong cleaning agents and, among other things, pour them into the, yes, I would say, where the gas enters the house. You shouldn't do that, he says. He also told me to mention that in my video. However, there was a message this morning at the Berlin Mitte power plant. That's exactly what heats these power plants, where the power outages are happening now. They had problems, and unfortunately I can't show you that anymore because I can't provide the sources anymore, because this DSU report suddenly just disappeared. But what I can show you is that there are already several power outages in Germany again. Yeah, now hold on tight. That's also exactly where the gas storage facilities are extremely empty. And now maintenance work is taking place everywhere. The citizens don't need to worry even when entire districts are being switched off. Crazy, isn't it?
The fire department operation has now ended. Investigations are still ongoing, but at the moment reports are leaning towards the fact that nothing has actually been found.
So, and who are you trying to fool? Well, we can rule out a technical defect with this gas detector. And that's also what the person on the phone just confirmed to me. He says that normally in a situation like this, the culprit is always found right away. Sometimes it's the gas detector, sometimes it's the cleaning lady or whatever. You can really prove that, and especially gas can be detected for a very long time. If you now say, oh, they brought out the big guns right away, which, by the way, is not in the standard protocol of the fire department, then that already says a lot. The second thing he said, as I mentioned, is about the cleaning agents. He rules that out for now. He has never heard of a cleaning agent that would trigger a gas alarm, unless they were cleaning somewhere with biological warfare agents or something like that. But he could rule that out as well. Because even here, hold on tight, yes, really hold on, the Bundestag is an authority and even the cleaning agents are strictly regulated there. But if we keep looking, something must have happened there. And he assumes that a little bit of gas really did leak out, specifically through a faulty pipe. That can happen, and it usually seals itself again, but a technician really needs to take care of it urgently. He said that's the one that sounds most logical to him. This sometimes happens in private homes, but usually goes unnoticed. There are also gas detection warning systems that handle everything. And he assumes, as he says, that the problem is indeed there. The Bundestag is heated with gas, a power plant is now taking a lot, pipeline pressure is dropping, and that could lead to problems, issues in the supply. That would be the only logical conclusion, as he says. But he also said, hey, watch out, you. We actually still have over 20%, and I'm not going. So I actually couldn't explain that either, because the gas pressure there should still be stable. Yesterday evening, I explained to you live that gas imports had collapsed, but then they didn't collapse after all. But this morning they collapsed again, which is what this graphic confirms.
So it could also be that this gas detector just went off for no reason. These are very sensitive instruments, and I'd say it's better for them to go off too early than too late. So, as I said, the danger has been averted, but it did cause a lot of commotion in the government district this morning.
So, and this morning I also spoke with a well-known gas and water installer, and he told me he can't imagine it either. Definitely not. He also says that if there really have been repeated drops in pressure there, even recently, then it's because of the power plants. It's very typical around 5 a.m. when everyone gets up and starts heating. You know how it is, for example, if you have a regulator in the heating room and it turns on exactly at 5 a.m., that means you need full heat, you need heating, and you need electricity. Yes. So these power plants have to be automatically switched on. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He said, I believe and I think he said that well, he can't explain it in the Bundestag because the equipment is constantly being maintained. That there really could be, let's call it, extreme fluctuations, and that we might not even get the truth about it. Whether we really still have 22.7%, or if by now it's only 21.7% left. To him, it already sounds a bit like we've fallen below that 20%, or rather, and we have to say it like this, that especially Berlin has fallen below the minimum pressure, and now that's causing complications. Of course, now the Bundestag is simply in the spotlight. He said that everyone needs to be aware of that, and he's actually the one who gave me the idea. Then just take a look at the power outage map and see if there have been any gas disruptions. By the way, there have been some for the past 2 weeks. There haven't been any heating systems that have failed in the last 2 weeks due to gas. Strange, isn't it? Just a small observation. One more thing about this pot, since you were so nice and watched until the end. What this pot has to do with tonight's video, you'll find out this evening. I have something really cool for you, but I'll finish it up first.